Hey, this is Robin with Weight Loss Apocalypse. I know it's been a little over a week, so just deal with how slow I am at getting these small clips to you. However, in that Patreon account, I've posted like 10 new sessions over the course of the last week. So if you're not going to be in that group supporting Weight Loss Apocalypse, you're just going to have to wait for these little clips when I get them out. So this is a session I recorded today. This is a client who has been on and off the HCG protocol. And it's kind of like a bulimia for her. So she would be like HCG, abusing the HCG protocol as a diet, and it's like her bulimic purge. So she's in this session, we are talking about what's going to happen when she finishes the round, and she's hoping that she can continue to feel the ease of this session this round that she's in. And I'm explaining to her, well, if she still wants to stay thin or wants to keep the weight loss she's experiencing, even if it's slow because she's cheating, I'm explaining to her why the ease that she's experiencing now is going to very quickly go away when the HCG protocol's over. So those of you who have really struggled and who found me through the HCG protocol and have really struggled to understand why it is so difficult to follow, and why when you get off the protocol, why it's so also difficult to follow. My son's texting me. So this could be why. You're attaching to the ease of the protocol with the safety of the weight loss, not realizing that once the protocol's over, your weight loss safety is gone. And what that means is now you have to work really hard to make sure you don't gain weight. So it becomes very paralyzing. And for people who are triggered by the intensity and perfectionism of dieting and depriving when the protocol's over, you're more likely to binge. So for those of you who've noticed your binge eating goes up after doing a round of the HCG protocol, this might be a good one for you to listen to. So, all right, if you want to watch the whole thing, you're going to have to join Patreon and become a Weight Loss Apocalypse supporter. If you would like to work with me, I am available. My website, link to my website is below. Fill in the request form to work with me, and we will schedule a consult today, tomorrow, as soon as possible. So, all right, enjoy. You are relaxing.
That I think is, I'm definitely more relaxed. Like, I don't feel like I'm constantly in that survival.
The grip.
Yeah, that's
like you're holding on for life.
Feeling, but,
yeah. Your grip is loosening a little bit. You're still holding on. But at least you're loosening your grip. That to me is a big deal. You will notice as you're on the very low calorie protocol, so it's all fake. Just so that you know, we will find out when it's over how your grip is. You just have to be truthful with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. What's going to happen when the very low calorie protocol, the last day is tomorrow? Okay? Just go there. And how is this going to work out? What's going to happen to all this freedom that you've given yourself to really go out and just experience the wilderness and the outside? Yeah, woohoo, fantasy world. What happens to that?
Oh, well, I guess I would hope it wouldn't go away.
Well, let's go into your reality, being that you've done this for decades. You kind of have some foresight you need to access here. What happens if this is the last day of the very low calorie protocol? What becomes your focus?
I think I'd have to move into something like, I think in my mind I envisioned that I would still have to be like watching, like I couldn't be completely totally free from food,
Well, it's not the food. It's what's the primary focus?
Yeah, of not gaining. Yes.
Correct. So
Yes.
all of a sudden,
I
this
know.
openness goes into closed. It closes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can feel that. Just go there and you can feel it. All this freedom to just relax closes.
And I honestly don't think, I don't know if I'm not okay with that. Like,
Just go there. Let's go there. And we
Yeah.
both know that's what's going to happen. So let's just go there. So this is where you have to go, what's the truth versus what's my fantasy, right? Because you thought you would be fine going back into keto. That sucked too. You know, you have an idea what you think it's going to be like, which is actually coming from bias and cognitively distorted concepts from your fear, right? You're fantasizing about what you think is going to happen. What's important is you tell yourself the truth. So as soon as you're done with this very low calorie protocol, you've really enjoyed this freedom, I'm assuming. You're giving yourself a little bit of lenience with your freedom to go out. You're actually enjoying that. You're feeling the kind of like you can breathe right now. It's probably been kind of somewhat pleasant. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God I don't have strain. The moment the HCG goes away and you are no longer protected from the rigidity and the ease of your weight, right? Because you can relax because you can trust your weight right now is going to go down or stay the same. There's no pressure. So it's safety. You're like, it's a safety net. And you're laying on the safety net, having a fun time, relaxing. Okay. The moment the HCG goes away and your hunger is going to go up, what happens to your focus? Your mental focus where does it go?
Probably goes to food.
No, it doesn't. Where does it go? It shouldn't be a guess. You should be experiencing it when I process through this with you. Go into what it is. In fact, the first thing that you're going to start fixating on, your focus is going to start fixating on what?
On another diet.
No.
Or on like finding
your weight. It's your weight. Your weight becomes very important in that moment.
Okay.
Then, see, you're not questioning that part. You go right into the diet. Well, of course. Why is the diet there?
Right, because
your weight.
The weight, which is all right. It's always been.
Okay, I'm going to ask.
That's always been important.
I'm going to ask the question again. So right now it's not. Why? Because you can trust the protocol is taking care of it. So you actually, in this moment, are experiencing a slight sense of freedom.
Yes, I mean, although it's
you're relying
not like dropping off.
No, but you can rely on this because you know you're not gaining and there is no threat.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
So just stick with me here.
Okay.
That's why it feels like you can breathe. That's why you're actually having a moment where you can go, hold on a second. No, I'm going to go. Because you're relying on the freedom you have right now. Because you know you're not gaining. You don't have this crazy, sketched out, cocaine addict, shifty-eyed defense of your drugs. You're high as a kite. And just the fact that you don't have to worry about it right now. Your thinness is is occurring and you don't have to worry about it. Even if it's low. You don't have to tend to it. You don't need to worry about it. It is being taken care of for you. So you can actually go into this kind of conversation with me. Like you can do that. Okay. So what happens to that freedom when this protocol is at an end?
Right. It goes away.
It gets condensed, right? Like it goes from seeing things with perspective to looking through a straw. What are you looking at in the straw?
When it's done, you mean?
When the protocol transitions into the next phase, what's the most important thing? The main focus.
Not gaining.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
It is your weight, and that takes over everything. Tell me what that feels like just going there. What does it feel like?
A little suffocating.
Yep, it does. Pressurized. That's one way I would say the pressure comes in. It's like
Yeah, like your walls are closing, like being in that Star Wars movie where the thing's smushing you.
Yes. No, that's exactly what happens. That's an awesome visual. And then that projects into, because you want to feel safe, right? Because in that time, you're like, I don't feel safe. My weight is, I have to maintain my weight. Then what comes next?
Restricting again.
Yeah, your diet. So then you're going to go into, I have to restrict. Now, how does that feel?
Well, I mean, it's not horrible unless I guess it depends on how much I have to restrict.
Okay, go into your reality. So stop going into your fantasy. Go into reality. Okay. The reality is, how does it feel in that moment when you're like, I have to restrict. I can only have this and that. I can't eat this. And keep in mind, you're coming off of the very low calorie protocol. Okay.
Yeah, it feels like, I guess it feels like, oh, sorry, I feel sorry for my,
Well, don't you think there's like, it's kind of more than one-sided. There's a variety of things that the diet does. There's one side that makes it feel controlled and I need it. So there's a sense of need, right? And, oh, it's going to help me. But then there is now your mind is obsessing around what you can and cannot eat. How much should I eat? What time should I eat? So then there's this frantic and almost like desperation to it, right? So there's the need, then there's it's almost like that obsessiveness comes into account, but then there's reality, which is like, I haven't had a piece of toast for months. I just want to have a taste of that, right? And it feels depriving. You feel deprived. But I also, don't you agree too, if we go back down into the focus going into that room closing in, right? I cannot gain weight. The fear of gaining weight, and how that then projects into the need to restrict and to continue to restrict and to focus on what you can't eat in that moment. Mm-hmm. Do you agree it becomes very strict? So right now you're giving yourself some lenience, aren't you? The protocol is insanely strict. It's actually radically strict, anorexic strict, correct?
Yeah, but I'm not following it perfect.
No, you're giving yourself lenience, and some of that comes with the fact that you are guaranteed that you're probably not going to gain, but you're losing slowly. Again, notice the difference in this environment you're in right now. What happens when the protocol goes away? Is that lenience around food going to stay? Don't tell me what you hope. Tell me the truth.
Probably not.
Not probably. You know the truth. Go into the truth. What happens when you become very concerned about gaining weight? What happens to your lenience with food if you're concerned about gaining weight?
It goes away.
You got it. So there's the truth. So you're going to go right now, you're giving yourself some lenience because you don't have to worry about gaining weight. You know that the protocol is going to keep you safe from that to some degree, right? Yeah. You're lowering your expectations for the weight loss, but you're also relying heavily on the fact that you are being protected from what you don't want, which is weight gain. Once the protocol goes away, what happens to your fear of gaining weight?
It comes back.
Yeah, so right now on the protocol, do you have fear of gaining weight in this moment?
No.
Do you see how that's allowing you the freedom to cheat here and there, to give yourself grace, and you're not binging, which is awesome. You're learning that too. Like, wow, if I have grace, I don't binge. As soon as I failed, here comes the binge. Then then it's like, why am I even on this? So the benefit of you feeling relaxed about your weight right now is that you're experiencing how that manifests with food. So much easier.
question. Like, what do you consider binge?